board. And I'll
Great. Well, welcome everybody, and thanks so much for taking the time to join us today. Natalie and I are so excited for this month's deep dive. We're going to talk to you about how to nail your next group session using Practice Better. So by the end of today's webinar, you'll know how to set up and optimize group sessions and be able to confidently position them within your practice. So I'd like to introduce you to our co-founder and CEO, Natalie. Hi, Natalie.
Hi.
And I'm Shelly, our business success coach.
So I guess before we dive in, let's get a feel. Who here, that's joining us live, is already using group sessions as part of their practice? So let us know in the chat. So are you working with multiple clients at the same time? Whether it be in person or online.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I see a couple me's. I am not in Practice Better yet. Had my first. Amazing.
Awesome.
Not yet. Starting in September. Just getting started, but not yet. I want to, if that counts. Of course it counts. It absolutely counts.
September.
Starting in September. September is a great month to be launching a new, I'm assuming maybe programs or group coaching. So that sounds exciting, just around the corner. Maybe a little nerve-wracking as well. October, perfect. So this sounds like it's coming at a good time. Hopefully we can, put some of your nerves at ease a little bit surrounding how to run group sessions within Practice Better, and just giving you some tips and things that you might want to consider when running your group session.
Yeah, so another quick question. So how are you working with groups of clients presently, or how do you anticipate working with groups in the future? Maybe just a quick, is it in person, online? Is it big groups, small groups?
Yeah, and I guess while you were letting us know that in the chat, just want to talk about a few common examples that we, Shelly and I and the customer success team hear a lot about in terms of how people are using group sessions. So as Shelly mentioned, they could be online, they could also be in person. Mm-hmm. So, in-person examples might be something like if you're doing fitness classes, maybe you have yoga classes or meditation classes or personal training classes, right? But you can also do a lot of these things online as well, like online meditation classes. You might be doing group health coaching, right? So if you're offering health coaching in groups where you can include peer coaching within that group, you might be doing family consultation. So maybe not what you necessarily think of when you think about groups, but you may need to get multiple people on the same call to be on the same page. So maybe parents are working, right? They can't always come into the clinic, and you're doing it remotely, and maybe their child is away at college. So that's a really great way to do group sessions as well, would be for family consultations. Group health challenges. So if you're running a health challenge, like a 7-day challenge, that's also a really great way to incorporate group sessions. Also, if you're doing, condition-specific groups, so if you're very niched in who you work with, you work, let's say, with people with diabetes or hormone imbalances or, overworked or whatever the case might be, you might be leading or thinking about leading any sort of educational sessions for those condition-specific groups. So there are lots of different ways that you can use these in your practice. This is by far not an exhaustive list. So if you're using the group sessions in any other way, definitely let us know in the chat.
Yeah.
I'm always sorry, Shelly. I'm always shocked to hear other ways that people have, chosen to use a Practice Better feature or, other than what we may have anticipated. That's really cool.
Cool. Yeah. So what are the benefits of running group sessions? So just some.
Sorry, Shelly. I just wanted to take a quick look. I see a lot of the responses in the chat were that a lot of you are doing online, some in person for sure, smallish groups online, completely virtual, in person, but want to move online. let me see, presently one-on-one via Zoom or phone, future groups of 20-ish, so that's good. Well, it's all good, of course. Both in person and online small to mid-sized groups. So everything Shelly and I are going to talk about today, and Shelly's going to go over some of the benefits of group sessions, everything's going to be applicable to whether you're working with people virtually or in person as well.
Yeah.
I'm done interrupting you, Shelly.
No. And it's definitely different. I've done more of the in-person, and it's a different dynamic in person versus online, but as you start doing it, you'll get better and learn the techniques. But anyway, so some of the benefits of group sessions are, including a sense of community as group members share their common goals and struggles and positive feelings in helping and supporting one another in the group. You're also streamlining your education so that you can educate more people at once instead of the one-on-one. You're tapping into the collective wisdom of the group. And in conjunction to the group sessions, you can offer education like an e-course. So in Practice Better, you could offer an evergreen course to enhance the knowledge as well as teach skills in a more efficient manner than if you were doing it individually. You're learning and practicing new things together that further strengthens the group bond. As I mentioned before, the educational and coaching efficiency may provide a more realistic and sustainable way to increase the reach of your coaching. And lastly, there are some potential challenges. Some of you may have already experienced these, but just learning how to manage the group dynamics and sometimes getting unsolicited advice from other group members that are trying to give group members advice. So just things like that to keep in mind and to learn the skills to manage those. So Natalie and I are going to walk you through how to set up your group sessions in Practice Better and how to make sure you're setting them up in a way that both you and your clients will be successful.
Yeah. And just to kind of recap what Shelly said, a lot of the benefits she mentioned, some of them were specific to you as a practitioner or coach, some of them more for the client, but there are lots of benefits to both you and your clients for doing group sessions. So whether it's just a thought at the moment, or you want to dip your toes and start with really small groups and then grow, I think, grow from there. I think that's a really something that at least to think about, because there are, like Shelly mentioned, there's a lot of really great benefits to both you and your client. Yeah. All right. I'm going to turn off my camera so Shelly can share her screen. There we go. All right. So can everyone just let us know in the chat if you can still see, or if you can see Shelly's Practice Better screen? Yeah, perfect. Can see the screen. Awesome. So just before Shelly jumps into showing you how to first set up your groups, I just wanted to reiterate, everything we're going to talk about can be done in groups, whether they be in person or virtual. So if you are thinking about using virtual group sessions within Practice Better, you're going to want to do this likely through our Zoom integration. So we have a Zoom integration. What I'll do is I'll send out the link to the Zoom integration help article when I send out the replay tomorrow. But you'll want to use our Zoom integration to run any virtual sessions through Practice Better that will be intended for groups. So you can, either link an existing Zoom account. So if you already have a Zoom account, you could just link it to Practice Better under a third-party integrations. And if you don't already have one and you need a HIPAA compliant Zoom account, you can purchase one from Practice Better for $30 under My Subscription. I will give you the link on how to do that in the replay, so you don't have to be worried about how to get there. But yes.
Great. Awesome. All right. So let's dive in and take a look at how to set up your group service. So you're first going to want to go to My Services, so My Practice, and then My Services. Okay, and then from here, we're going to click the fast action button, and then you're going to say add service, and you're going to click on the group, class, or service. I'm going to actually show you one that I've already created a couple here. So cooking with greens, yoga, and meditation. The setup you're going to see is very similar to setting up your one-on-one service. So you're going to need to provide a service name. So this service is cooking with greens. Again, you know, which color you want it to show up on your calendar. Very similar, you know, to the one-on-one sessions, except this is going to be a group session. So here we have our description, our duration. Okay, payment options are the same. You know, if you want to suggest to pay a booking, the booking these are still the same. And then how do you want to offer this group class? So here I've got in-person or virtual online. Okay, so now in terms of optimizing your group sessions, there's a few things you're going to want to consider when setting them up. So for instance, you know, do you want to cap the enrollments? So here we have the attendee limit is going to be 10 if you want to do, you know, more small group coaching, if you want it to be more interactive. Then you want to think about the types of people who are going to enroll in each group and service type and decide if it makes more sense to run smaller or larger groups. And there's benefits to both, and there's also challenges to both. For those of you who have already been doing it, you'll understand that. So if you want to limit the number of enrollees, you can specify a default enrollment limit under the group option. This can actually be adjusted on a per session basis, but you can set the master default limit here. If you're also working with clients one-on-one, you may want to add a buffer time. So this class or this session is 90 minutes, so I'm adding a 30-minute because I'm gonna need time to clean up and, you know, get ready for whatever else is coming. So I have a 30-minute buffer time. Let's see, so once you've linked your Zoom account, then here under the telehealth, I'm going to select use Zoom because I've already integrated under third-party settings. I linked my Zoom account. So if you're running a free group session to get potential clients excited about an upcoming program or offering, maybe you're going to want to adjust the buttons, the traditional book now button. So here I have, you know, save my seat. So this is what they're going to click on to enroll, you know, save their seat in my Cooking with Greens class. And then once they're confirmed, the pop-up's going to say you're in. So these are customizable. So you can go ahead and do that.
Yeah, and just to add to that, you know, you might be, if you're using, if you're doing the one-on-one sessions with clients, you might already be creating customized email notifications. But if you're not, you may want to with your groups, because then it's one less thing you have to do in terms of communicating with everyone. So you don't have to send an email to every person. You can maybe put some of the information you want them to have in order to be best prepared for their session with you in the customizable email notifications like we see on the bottom of Shelly's screen here. So for example, if you want to help get them in the mindset of coming to your Working with Greens cooking class or your accountability session, whatever the case might be, you can maybe ask 3 questions. Maybe it's not a question that you're going to necessarily get the answer to in advance. Maybe it's just planting the seed. So if it's something like an accountability session that they do weekly when they're running through your program with you, maybe it's something like, hey, you know, here are 3 things I want you to think about ahead of our group call. So maybe one is, you know, what were your biggest wins this week? Right? So they start thinking about the success they had. They're ready. So when you ask them in that call, hey, you know, what was your biggest win this week? They're ready with an answer. When you want to find out how they need more support, so maybe you ask them, you know, what did you struggle with this week? What were your biggest struggles? So again, when you're looking for engagement in your group session, they already have a response ready. And then the other thing is maybe, what are you most excited about learning in the coming weeks? So those are just examples. There's absolutely no right or wrong way to customize your email notifications, but it is an extra tool that you could use to help get them in the right state of mind to have an engaged group, an engaged session, and just get their excitement, get them a bit more excited. So these questions, they may be the same questions that go out every week. You don't have to change them week to week. They might just be like, these are the things I need you to think of before you come into this session. If you're working with these group participants one-on-one as well, so if you're thinking about, the people in this group session, is this going to lead to one-on-one consults, or are you hoping they're going to lead to one-on-one consults? Another option might be to actually create a short questionnaire. So in your My Forms and Waivers section, you could actually build a short questionnaire that has targeted questions that would go out to your clients ahead of their group session, or even on the heels of their group session, and then you can collect the responses. So instead of just planting the seed like you would in a customized email notification, you could actually send out the forms. And we would do that through an automation, just like we would do if we did this for one-on-one sessions. And then the really great part of that is, if you do end up working with these clients one-on-one, all of their responses are already going to be stored and easily accessible for both you and them in their client record.
Awesome.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Does anyone not know, anyone on the call today unsure of how to do the form automations? I'll send this link out tomorrow as well, but I just want to make sure that at least everyone knows what I'm referring to.
Great. All right. So, so now let's take a look at setting up your group session availability. So once you get your service set up, I have my Cooking with Greens service. We're going to head over to up here to My Availability. So once you've created your service, you're going to want to set up your availability to allow clients to register for upcoming sessions that are public. Examples of this would be your yoga class, cooking class, a learn more session, etc. So the idea is, if you've put it in your availability, is that you'll likely be including this service on your website or your public booking page or from the client portal. So clients are going to be able to register for your service from your booking page in the same way that they request their one-on-one sessions. So you can either provide a direct link to specific sessions if there's one particular session you'd like a client to register for. So it's important to note that when you do set up group availability, you're only creating what's called a placeholder slot for the service. We're going to talk more about that, but a placeholder is essentially it's like a tentative, unconfirmed session, but it is official on your calendar. So there's no need to go in and set up a personal event on your Practice Better calendar or create a new group session in your calendar. So the placeholder is already going to be holding that time for you. Okay, and we'll take a look at that on the calendar. So Practice Better, it will prevent clients from booking one-on-one sessions at any time which overlaps with group session placeholders. However, you will not receive reminders for a placeholder session until a client registers or you manually confirm the session.
Yeah.
So this, yeah.
Sorry, I was just going to say.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, Shelley. Yeah, I was just going to say, you don't. The idea behind this is that you're not getting spammed with notifications for sessions that no one's actually registered for yet. So basically, you're not getting an email saying, 0 participants. We're just not going to. We're not going to notify you unless someone's actually coming to that session. That's why Shelley is saying this is a placeholder. So it's still, like she said, very official. you know, it's going to have a spot on your calendar. That can be also transferred to your Google Calendar. So no need to like double up on it, but we're not going to send you notifications about it until someone's actually registered.
Yeah, that makes sense. So to set up a group session in your availability, you can either click, you know, on the time here, or you can go over on the fast action button and you can click on group class service. Okay, so here we have the cooking with greens. You can say, so when I set this up, the options were in person or online video chat. If it is in person, you want to specify which location it's going to be at, what time zone, and then you're going to have your start time. So let's say we're going to add this on Saturday. We're going to do like an early morning, maybe one that starts at 8 o'clock. Okay, and then if the group session recurs, you can have it recur daily, weekly, or monthly. And if you want it to recur weekly, maybe it's going to recur, you know, several days of the week. So you could have Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday, or you can just have Saturdays. You can easily set up the weekly recurring. So this is going to recur every Saturday at 8 a.m. I'm going to hit save. Once you've set up your availability, you're going to see it displayed. So we got the availability here. And if we go over to my calendar, this is where you're going to see these are the placeholders. Okay, so the ones that have the light shading here on the side are not confirmed yet. But the ones that have the darker shading here, these have already been confirmed, and so you're able to register clients for those sessions.
Right, and confirm just in the sense that someone's registered. Mm-hmm. So as Shelly was saying, you can, for your regular availability, when you know, especially like if you do a yoga class on Monday mornings or you do your cooking with greens class every Saturday morning, you can set that right up into your availability, so that way you can put these services, let's say they can go onto your website. They can be part of the list of services that clients see when they log into the client portal. They can be services that maybe you share on your public bookings page, if that's linked to like social media or going out to your email list. So those are that's your regular availability that Shelly was walking you through. But we also understand that sometimes you just have, group sessions that pop up that are not necessarily part of, your public booking options, right? So for example, if Shelly wants to offer a yoga and meditation class on Sunday morning at, I don't know, noon or something, at whatever time she chooses, she can go in and she doesn't have to go set up a new availability for it. She could just go in and schedule that time for that class right into her calendar. So maybe this one is, right. I think Shelly was a yoga teacher in another life. So prepared.
I do a lot.
So yeah, so now Shelly's gone in and she's created this one-off yoga and meditation class. Or again, that could be a one-off accountability class. So it only needs to go into your Practice Better availability if you want to put it up on your website. You want to make it available from the client portal. You want people to find that service and book it. If it's just the one-off, then what you would do is you would book it like Shelly did, and then you can come in and register clients. So click on Register Clients, see a list of all of the clients who are already in the system, right? She can register everyone she knows who should be in the class. Or the other option would be she could also click on Share Registration Link, and then share that link specifically to that one service so people could register. Yeah. Does it make sense why you would set up your availability and why you would set up a one-off group session in your calendar? Jennifer asks if there's a way for it to occur weekly until a certain date. Absolutely. Yeah, you'll have that option when you set up that the service recurs. Paula says, so I could create a program or package that includes modules and scheduled group sessions. So 4-week program, 4 different topic group sessions. Yeah, absolutely. You first set up the session type. In my practice, my services like Shelly did, and then you can absolutely link them to a program, and Shelly will show us that in a little bit.
Yeah, so if you come over here, and again, these are the placeholders, and if you click on it, you have 2 options. So you can either, view this, which we were just looking at. So when you go into view, this is where, you could actually start the Zoom meeting, but you have a lot of other options. So registering clients, you can reschedule it, sending reminders, broadcast message out to the people that are enrolled or registered. You can send forms if you decided, hey, I do want to send out a quick questionnaire or maybe an assessment, and you can do some other things here. And then, you can also see the link for them because this one is online. So this is the Zoom link for them to join. I could do a copy of that if I'm going to be sending that out in a broadcast or in an email.
And then you'll also see, and then you will have also seen like a list of everyone and who's registered. Sorry, Shelly, if you said that. Yeah, who's registered. You'll see, like if she clicks on the 3 dots, Shelly, could you cancel someone? So mark as canceled. And then you'll see the count will go back to 2, but we will see who had registered but canceled. So it's a good idea, just to get it before you go into your health reboot session or your Cooking with Green session for your health reboot program. You can go in and see who to expect. And then you can, again, like Shelly said, not all the 10 people who you expected would register for this. You could always send a broadcast, like from the plus line. You can send a broadcast message to all of them, reminding them, hey, the session's coming up. Don't forget to register.
Yeah, so now if you click on a placeholder that is not confirmed, you're going to get these 2 options. So you can go in and look at the session details, or if you want to delete it, you can go ahead and delete it here. But if I go into the session details, if I needed to update anything here, if I was going to update the time or the buffer time or how it's being delivered or any other notes, I can do that. And then once I say confirm, you're going to see that this is where then I could register clients or share. Now clients are able to register for this class now that it's confirmed. Okay, so now you're going to see the placeholder with the darker solid line here, meaning that it is confirmed. Okay, let's see.
So yeah, so just in terms of getting back to viewing your sessions, so your group sessions will be the same as your one-on-one sessions. So as Shelly has shown you, they appear here in your calendar, but you can also go to My Schedule and My Bookings. And this will also show you a list of all of your upcoming sessions. So they'll show you the individual sessions as well as the group sessions. So for example, in the second one, the Cooking with Greens, we can click on Manage. And again, that will show us the same information that we saw earlier. Okay, Jason has canceled, he's no longer coming. Now we see who is registered. So, and if we go one screen back, again, on August 23rd at 2 p.m., you can just go and launch that Zoom meeting. So if the session is virtual, you can just click Start Zoom Meeting, and it will launch your Zoom meeting as well. We can't do it right now because we're already on Zoom, but it's really easy. And the idea is we want to make it really easy for you to be able to communicate with everyone attending one of your group sessions. That's why, if we go back to manage, not to spend too much time, but that's why you have all of these options. So everything that you're going to select on the right-hand side that Shelley already went through applies to everyone. So you're not having to do these things individually. So if you have 50 people registered for a group session that might be interested in your program or whatever the case might be, you don't have to worry about contacting them individually. So if I said, you know, send a broadcast, for example, that broadcast message would already pre-select everyone in this group session. So I could say, you know, don't forget to bring whatever it might be if I forgot to tell them something or whatever the case might be. But now we're doing the action one time for everyone. So, all right.
Okay, so yeah, so let's talk about adding sessions to, if you do have a program, a fixed date program in Practice Better. So we can go over here to your programs. I do have a fixed date program that's actually starting today. So we're going to go in here to edit. So within the program, if you're just setting it up or perhaps it's already set up and now you want to add group sessions to it, you're going to come up here to the advanced options. And then you're going to navigate to the down here under group sessions. You're going to have 3 options. So we have all of these checked. You can automatically add new enrollments to these upcoming sessions, the group sessions. You can, you know, send confirmation notifications and send reminder notifications. So if you check these are all going to happen. So now you may want to consider disabling these options if you're also sending, so if you have modules and you enable the welcome email in the modules, if you're going to have a module released on the same day as your session and you don't want the participants to be getting too many emails, you may want to disable these if you want the information to come in the module welcome email. So just think about that if it's the modules unlocking on the same day as your group session. Just something to consider.
Yeah, and for sure, I mean, if this is not your first time to one of our deep dives, you know, Shelley and I are huge proponents of testing things out.
Yeah.
Because we think that we think your workflow matters, and we want to make sure that it works for you. But we also think that the client experience matters. So it's great to make the information available, but if we're repeating the information somewhere else, maybe, you know, you can skip, like Shelley mentioned, you know, the reminder email for the upcoming Zoom session, if you're including that in the welcome email for a new module. So just to run through it so you see, is there enough information? Is there too much information? So you can create that balance that you're looking to create for your group, because each group, the purpose of each group will be different. So how you handle that balance might be different as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so if you do want to add, like I wanted to add the Cooking with Greens class to this 10-day program, fixed date program. So I set this up for, what is this, Friday at 2 p.m. So you can come in, you can add multiple sessions, but you would just say add another. Maybe you want to add the yoga and meditation class. So you would go ahead and add that, pick the day and time if you want any buffer time, but we're not going to add that. So this is just where under the modules where you're going to go if you want to add a group session to your fixed date program.
Yeah, and can you go back to add another for a moment, Shelley?
Yeah.
So when we say add another, the list of services we see here, remember they first have to be set up under My Practice, My Services, like Shelley did at the beginning of the deep dive. So, and again, if we click, can you go back to yoga and meditation class? So you see when you're looking at this that everyone, you can see who's already included by default into this this group session, because these people are already part of the program that the session is linked to.
Great. Yeah, and so you can also we go back to edit details. So let's say you're running a longer fixed date program and you want the participants to stay engaged with you, especially if you're doing, you know, group coaching and they're getting to know one another through those group sessions. Perhaps you want to enable a group chat for the program so that the participants can stay in touch with each other. Maybe since we're doing the cooking with greens class, maybe they're going to want to share photos of the greens, like the different recipes that they're cooking, and you know, any successes. You know, they finally made their first batch of kale chips and they actually were crispy and they wanted to post a picture of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
and that's one thing, you know, again, every group is different and how you're going to run your groups will be different. There's no wrong way, but at least the idea is for it to be intentional. So if you're trying to build, if the purpose of your program is to build a community and to have some sort of, and to have support, but that's not necessarily always directly coming from you, including a group chat is a really great option. Shelly, the one she's showing us, or the one she's talking about right now, is actually linked to the program, but it doesn't have to be. It can be outside of the program as well. You could just create a group chat that's independent and invite everyone into that as well. So it's a really great option. You've got a lot of different options in terms of, you know, do you want your clients to see who's in the group? Do you want them to see the first name? And when I'm talking about the who's in the group, I'm talking about the group chat, pardon me, not the group session. So if we're talking about the group session, the registrants won't see who else is registered in that group chat. So they're not going to, we'll show you on the client side in a few minutes, but they won't see anyone else's name in the group chat. However, you have the option, Shelly, if you can go to the top and just click on the three dots to edit the group chat. It'll show you the different settings you have in terms of what level of privacy you can give. So you can allow clients to see who's on the participant list. Again, this is for group chat specifically. You can allow them to see the participant's full name, first name, and initial, or not allow them to see participant list at all. So you've got a lot of options here with the group chat. So, you know, depending again on what reason you're using the group chat for, or the group sessions, you've got a lot of options here. There were a couple questions in the chat,
okay,
not the group chat, the deep dive chat, asking, so can we share the link via social media for people to sign up? You can share the links on social media. You'll probably, what I would even say is, I think always a better place to send people would be to your website. So if you want to put the group session or program details or individual details on your website, and then on social media, you can just be sending people back to your website. I think that's always a great approach. But yes, otherwise you can also share them on social media. Farrah's asking, can registrants see who else is registered, or is it private? So, okay, we just went over that. I have a few members who missed the session live, and what's the easiest way to allow them to access the recorded session? That's a great question. Mm-hmm. So typically, what you can do is you can either take the recorded link and send it in a broadcast to everyone who was there, everyone who registered. The other option would be if it's part of a program. So if your group session is part of a program, you can actually just go and take, you know, upload, let's say, the Zoom recording, for example, to YouTube, like a private YouTube page, and embed it right into the program content, like right into the module content. So that way they can go back to that module that the session is kind of connected to, mm-hmm. and see it when they're reviewing the rest of their program content. So there are a couple different ways you can share it. Shelly, did you have other?
No.
No? Okay.
Yeah, I think that's great if it is part of a program, just to kind of keep everything together and keep the replay in context with the actual module.
Yeah. Cindy says, this is so amazing. I used to do this all by hand. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Shelly and I used to do all this by hand as well. So I wish I were still running through programs now. Virginia asks, is the group chat a great alternative to Facebook groups? My answer is yes. I think so. I think that it's a great option, especially when we're doing health coaching. You might be talking about things that you may not want to have on the Facebook platform. It's completely up to you. We have a lot of people who've switched over from using something like a Facebook and are now using the Practice Better group chats. As you can see, like visually, it's still a really great experience for them. They still have a lot of the same functionality as they would have in a Facebook group. However, now they don't have to go to yet another platform. So they can go in and communicate and get the support they need from the same place where they're accessing the content, right? So yeah. Yeah. So Virginia, I love that people because so many people I know don't like using Facebook. Yeah, that was a big reason why we introduced the group chat, was because we got a lot of feedback from our users, like you, saying the same exact thing, that people didn't want to have to log into Facebook. A lot of people are not everyone is using Facebook, so why force them to have to create, credentials for yet another platform? So before we go over to the client side and show you just, how easy things are for the clients to navigate as well, just want to see how everyone's doing. Oh, and I want to go back to form automation. I want to see if there are any other questions before we go back to form automation about running your group sessions in Practice Better, and how do you feel about, tackling this now? So while everyone puts their questions, if they have any questions, Shelly, can we go to automation and just walk through what are our options for form automations when we're running a group session? So Shelly went to automations. You can get there a couple ways. So one way is My Practice and then automations, and just clicking on the red fast action button in the bottom right hand corner. And then we can say send forms after a booking is confirmed. Okay. So you would name the automation just so it's easy for you to go back and edit if you have any changes to make. Great. Decide which service is going to trigger the automation. It's already selected to be Cooking with Greens, but you can select anything in the list. So Cooking with Greens, remember, is a group session. Okay. We can decide when we want the forms to go out. So do we want them to go out right away? So immediately once the booking has been confirmed. So if we say yes, that might be a really great option for including something like, just seeing it. Let's say the SMART goals. I'm just making this up. I didn't plan on doing this. Let's say you want to send out the SMART goals questionnaire and the client intake questionnaire before this session, right? So this allows us to, especially if we want to capture the information. So remember when we talked about setting up an email notification and customizing it and planting those seeds. What were your wins this week? What did you struggle with this week? What would you like to learn more about? We're not capturing that information. We're just asking them to get into that frame of mind and be prepared to answer those questions when they come to the group session. Now this would be a form where they actually put in their responses. So you could ask the same 3 questions, or you can ask them 5 questions, where each one of them will individually receive the form. They will each individually complete the form, and their responses will all be part of their client record, so their private client records. So, for example, this one here, we're saying send this setting SMART goals form out. If we want this form to go out before they come to the Cooking with Greens group session, every time we would just check mark the box that says clients may complete forms multiple times, right? So this means every time they register for Cooking with Greens, they're going to get the same questionnaire. This might be a bit more pertinent if you're doing something like an accountability session you're doing a weekly accountability session, you want to see what their progress is. Okay. If you want to send them a form on the heels of a session, right? So maybe you did this cooking with greens questionnaire and you have like a post cooking with greens questionnaire that you want to send them. Maybe you ask them, what did they learn? What did they appreciate? What would they, love to learn more about in their next class with you? So it's a great way to, one, either have them recap what they learned or give you feedback on what you could do better. So there are a few options. Both of these forms, whether they be forms that are sent before the session or they're forms that are sent after the sessions, they can be set up in the same place. So my practice, automations, and then you would say send forms once booking is confirmed. I will send all that information in the replay, I promise. I hope that was helpful. Let me just see if I missed anything in the question. So someone's saying, already asking them to create a practice better and Zoom account is a lot for many folks. Yeah, I think the piece with anyone who's resistant to using something new is being sure of the benefits and being able to talk to them about the benefits of why you want them to do this and how it's going to be helpful to you. Sometimes the answer is also how it's helpful to you as the practitioner, which will make things easier for them. So, not everyone, a lot of people are resistant to change. I completely understand that. That's not a new concept, but just being, I think, equipped with why do I want you to do this? And especially if it's coming from a place of this is going to help me help you, or this is even just directly going to help you in terms of how you're going to navigate the resources I'm going to share with you, how you're going to have access to me. All of those things, I think, really help them feel more confident with making the decision to, okay, yeah, it's just two things I'm setting up. Laura says, agreed. So Fair asks, is setting up a payment process the same for group as individuals? Yes, it's exactly the same. So for those of you who don't know how to do the payment process or payment installments, Shelly, I'll let you do that, actually.
For payment plan?
Yeah.
Yeah, so let me see, I forget how much I said, oh, $79. So yeah, so if we did want to do a simple payment plan, we could come under here, go to your service, go to the advanced options, and then payment plans. We're going to add a plan, and maybe you just want to take, say, a $20 deposit, and then you're going to allow your clients to pay in installments. So maybe we have, 29, and then let's see. So they would have basically just 3 payments, and they could pay a week after, or maybe we say because this class is coming up, they can pay the $29, 2 days after they pay the deposit, and then we're going to have this repeat daily.
Yeah.
So since it's,
we're usually working with like a big, when we use the program, the payment plans, we're usually working with like, packages. So it's kind of hard to divvy up, but yeah, you have the same option. So whether you just want to deposit, so it's like I can't remember, you said $79. You want just the $20 deposit, you can select just that, or you can split it into a couple accounts, a couple installments. And also keep in mind that the group sessions can also be part of a package. So if you want to create a package that has group sessions, all group sessions, or a package that has group sessions and some individual sessions, you can do that and then obviously create the payment plan. Sandy says, she was talking about regarding asking them to add a Facebook account as well. That said, all of her clients love Practice Better and are impressed with the platform. That's awesome to hear. We are so happy to hear that you're getting great feedback, Sandy. All right. If we don't have, go ahead, Shelly.
Should we head over and take a quick look at the client side?
Yeah, let's do that.
So when a client logs in and they're part of a group service, so they are going to, so on the home page over here is where they're going to see their upcoming group sessions along with any individual sessions that they have. So our client Mary here has her cooking class, which is going on right now, actually. So hopefully she's there cooking up a storm and enjoying it. And then she's got a second class on Friday, followed by her yoga and meditation class. But we could also, Mary could also go into her bookings. So if she's in her bookings, she's going to go in here and also see those. And this is where, if it is an online session, she can join her Zoom session here. She can go look at any of the details of the group session here.
Yeah, and as you see, this is the view of a client's group session. So there is no details about anyone else it registered into that session.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so very, very simple and straightforward. They have the information that they need to get on the Zoom. If it's an in-person, you want to have the location, any kind of special directions, where they should park, what they should bring, all that good stuff.
Yeah, and then I guess while we're here, can we just take a quick look? I don't know if Mary Smith is included in any group chats, but can we just click on her group chat just to show you the view from the client side as well? It's going to be the same, but it's just showing you how clean and streamlined it is for them. And again, whatever naming convention you gave for the participants of the group, which are on the right-hand side, you see you'll see your practitioner's full name. The client will see their own full name, but in the naming convention we selected just to show the first name of the other participants. All right, Laura says, we haven't integrated being able to take monies into our Practice Better account. We have a platform that has been working. However, it looks like we should migrate to get the best out of Practice Better. Can you remind me with payment processing platforms? Yes, so we integrate with both Stripe and Square. So you can integrate with both Stripe and Square by going to the third-party integration section in your practitioner portal. All right, you're welcome. All right, so I'm gonna turn my camera back on. All right, so how are we feeling about everything we discussed today about group sessions, about running them in Practice Better, and just some of the things that you might want to keep in mind when setting them up? All right, that was a quick thrill, amazing. Laura says, thrilled, exclamation point. That's awesome. We're always happy when this is helpful. Vera says, one last thing, can you show me how to include a handout if I wanted to include handouts the day of the session? Is your session, I think the biggest thing would be, is your session tied to a program? If it's tied to a program, then you can include it in the module. If it's a handout, a true handout, what I would say is at the moment, I would probably, if you have a link to the handout, that would be the best way, and you can include that in a broadcast message, or you can include that in the confirmation email.
Could you upload it to documents and then just share it with the people that are coming to the
Yes, you could absolutely do it like Shelly mentioned, it's just not going to be automated. So, yeah. Sorry, my camera is shaking. So yes, like Shelly mentioned, you can go right into documents, have a handout folder, and then share it with the people that you want to share it with the day of. The only thing is that that's not going to be automated at the moment, but that's a great option. It's really pretty easy. But if you want it to be automated, then you'd have to, I would say, use a link, because you can't upload a document to an email notification, at least not at the moment. I'll upload it now. Also, if you have group chat, that's the other piece. If you're using group chat in conjunction with any group session, so if it's ongoing group sessions, you could upload the document right into the group chat. That's the other thing. Sorry, go ahead, Shelley.
Another question, if you're just getting started, how do you start a group session? Do you wait to get a group of people interested and then schedule it? Or would you schedule it and see how many people sign up? Yeah, there's really no right or wrong. You may have like a sales page or information that you're already planning for it. So now you want to promote it. So you would want to have a way for people to register if you're going to be promoting it. So you would set it up, as we showed you in the availability, you would get that link, the registration link, and you would embed that in a button. If you say, I want to sign up, save my seat, whatever you want to call it, but you would embed that link behind the button. So yes, you would want to set it up ahead of time.
I mean, there's going to be some, I'm not to say you don't think there will be, but there's going to be some work involved in terms of if you have the need already, people are asking for it, you're still going to have to be able to communicate with them, hey, it's available, here's where you register. If you don't yet have the demand for it, you can set it up, but now you're going to have the marketing piece that Shelley mentioned, where maybe you have a sales page, or you're figuring, you're sending the link out to. A really great way to do it is if you've built an email list, maybe you send the link out in the email list. So you talk about why they need to join, what you're offering in this group session, and then you give them the link where they can register. So there's definitely going to be a marketing component involved, whether that came before and that's how you got the demand, or if it's coming after. But either way, whether you're setting it up before the demand is there or once the demand has happened, like Shelley mentioned, there's no wrong way. Totally appreciate the consideration of details. Oh, good. I'm glad, Dawn. Cindy says, I'm ready to start now. Amazing. I cannot wait to hear how your group sessions go. Let's see, handouts, we talked about that.
Yeah, someone's mentioning they're a little overwhelmed, but the nice thing is you're all going to get a link to this replay, so and kind of watch it while you're going in, setting things up, and refer back to it.
Yeah, and what we do, if it's your first time on the deep dive, when we send out the email, we'll send a recap of everything we talked about with all the appropriate health articles that connect to them. Of course, too, you can go back to our YouTube page as well. We upload all of the deep dives, all the past deep dives to our YouTube page as well. So sometimes some of the deep dives we overlap, of course, other features, because nothing in Practice Better works independently. So you can go back and you can see deep dives about using group chat, for example, right? Or using programs or scheduling. And so there's lots of other deep dives in there that you can go through at your own pace while you're getting things set up. But testing is what we always recommend, because again, we want you to have the confidence of when you're launching this for the first time that you know it's going to work, and you know how to tell your clients what to expect. So because they too sometimes can feel overwhelmed. Not everyone is tech savvy, and although we get good feedback that you don't need to be super tech savvy to be using Practice Better as a client, sometimes just the thought of technology can be overwhelming. So it's really important to feel like if someone says to me, how do I log into my session, that you can just say, okay, so you're just going to log in, and it's going to be right on the right-hand side. You're going to click the video camera, right? So that you at least have a sense of what they're going to see. And then you've already run through it, so you approve of what they're going to see. Perfect. Let's see. Marilyn says, so excited to start using Practice Better for all of these features. Thanks for offering these webinars. We're so happy that they're helpful, or we hope that they're helpful. Thanks for your time. Thank you so much. Let's see, okay, sorry. So yeah, Jennifer, you're gonna get the replay. Thank you so much to everyone for staying with us for this hour. If you have any other suggestions in terms of webinars that you would love to see, let us know. We love to hear from you. We love to know what your, whether they're challenges or just, areas that you're less confident about, that you'd love to learn about. Let us know. We're always here, and we're always happy to help. Cool. All right. Have a great day, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.